Yo, what's up, man? It's your brother. And hopefully your friend, Big Hill. Black African Power. Each one teach one. Check this out on your screen, man. You see this white boy here. You know, I saw this video here, I think it was last week, last Friday. And immediately when I saw it, I disagreed with it. You know, and I said that, you know, as I listened to it, I said, man, I could debunk. There's a reason why everything he said I disagreed with, but I didn't have the time to address it properly. I had to wait till I got home, look at it again. And I wrote down a couple of points, and man, I'm going to address some of this mess. And the reason I feel like I want to address it, man, because as I read the comments of the person who posted the video, you know, she said she agreed with 75% of what he said. And as I read the comments, I seen that a lot of other Negroes was agreeing with him. And I said, whoa, man, this dude here is dangerous. I said, and those of us who know and can address these issues that he put up and debunk this bullshit that he's stressing, because this is a lot of propaganda he got here. And what he's trying to do, he's trying to absolve white America and the government of the condition that black folk in. Now, I'm all about self-accountability. I'm all about, man, you know, owning the part we play in our own ratchetness and stuff like that. But see, the law of cause and effect is going on at all times. And when you look at a people like black folk in this land, you're looking at the effect of something. And you cannot leave out the narrative when you're talking about black people in this country. You cannot leave out that narrative, the cause. There's a reason why black people are like we are in this country. And other than our part that we played in it, we wasn't the original catalyst, so to say. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this video, man, and I'm going to knock down some of this shit because this dude here needs to be addressed. If anybody else see this and they think they can do a better job with a bigger platform, please do, because it's shit like this right here that gets into the head of our youth and have them believing that they their own problem, and then, you know, it'll take their focus off what's really going on in this society. Because, you know, they'll have you think that the status quo and what they see and the reality that they see every day is a normal reality and it's just like that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't look at things from a historical perspective. You know what I'm saying? History is best qualified, most attractive to reward all research because the day is built on yesterday. And tomorrow going to be built on the day. So you cannot leave out the historical aspect. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to understand what happened to a people and why things are the way they are now. So let's get into it. Let's deal with it.
African American communities in this nation are disproportionately failing, and it's not because of systemic racism, and it's not because of a lack of privilege, it's because there's problems within the culture. There's a cultural issue happening from within the black community that needs to be corrected.
Okay. Black folks are disproportionately failing, and it's not because of a systemic racism. It's not because of lack of privilege. It's because of cultural issues within our communities that need to be addressed. Systemic racism. Really, dude? You don't think systemic racism has anything to do with why black people are failing in this land? How about the justice system? The fact that we don't get justice in the courts? How about the fact that the lawmaking body, the legislature, is 80 to 90% white? Might have 2 or 3 black senators. That's who make the laws. You think that if black folks made laws, that the laws in this land might be a little different? You think that, the privilege, the lack of privilege. When the fuck did we have privilege? Oh, okay, slavery, Jim Crow, fighting for civil rights, prison industrial complex. When did black people become privileged in this land at all? When I study the history of black people in America, they've always been an oppressed people. Tyranny and oppression. From the time they brought us here, and from the time they took the people that was here and enslaved them and mixed us all together and started calling us Negro, black, and colored. So privilege? Yeah, right. Let's continue.
Why does 13% of the population, which is black, cause over 50% of the murders in this nation?
Why do 13% of the blacks cause over 50% of the murders in this nation? It's probably because, man, we've been around a violent-ass people. You know, it's probably because, you know what I'm saying, that we live in a European culture and the nature of the European has always been a violent and warlike. And since we've been colonized, our minds have been colonized and we've taken up the ways of our colonizer, that's probably why. And then you add on top of that the anger and the mind fuckery of being a colonized, oppressed people. You take a people that you've visited tyranny and oppression upon, and the fact that we've adopted your culture because we've been around you for so long, and your culture is that of a violent one. That's probably why we're committing these murders.
Why does that happen? Why is the single parenthood rating in the black community upwards of 70%?
Why is the single parent family rating upwards over 70%? That's because back in the 1950s, they finally figured out that the strength of black people are family units. You know, the strength of any community starts with the family. Strong families build strong communities. Strong communities build strong towns. Strong towns comes into strong states. And they knew that the wise amongst them, your psychologists and your social engineers, they know that the strength of the family was black folks' strong point. So in the 1950s, they set out to destroy and put an all-out attack on the black family. You know, they gave us welfare. You know, and then once they started taking the jobs out of the cities and the women had to go on welfare, now in order for you to get this shit from the government, the man couldn't be in the home. That's an attack on the black family. Matter of fact, you can go back before then. They was attacking the black family and slaves, snatching babies and selling off husbands and selling off children. Because they know the family is the strength. So that's why 70% of black families are headed by single parent homes, single women, because of systemic entitlements and shit and systemic shit the government done to make sure that the family became a crime. Tell the woman you can get these benefits, you can get this, you can get that, but the man can't be in the home. And also, might I add, just because the man is not in the home doesn't mean that he's not part of the family. It just means he don't live with the home. Because there's a lot of brothers out here that don't live with the women, but they do take care of their children. They do, you know what I'm saying, have a prominent role in their child's life. They just don't live in a home. Some of them own homes themselves. So you can't throw that bullshit up there, man, and use it to try to absolve your people and the government from what has happened to black people. Continue.
Significantly higher than any other ethnic group. And why is it that approximately 95% of all black homicides are committed by other black individuals?
Why is it? Because 95% of all homicides are committed by other black people. Listen here, you fucking idiot. Now, I travel this country. I'm a truck driver. And I go in places where it's all white America. And I be guarantee you that all the crime in those places in white America across this land are committed by other white people. I guarantee you when you go down there in deep in Texas where it's nothing but Mexicans, you go down there in New Mexico and Arizona where it ain't nothing but Indians and Mexicans, I guarantee you that all the crime being committed are committed by those people. I guarantee you go to Chinatown in New York or any city in America, you go in Chinatown where there's mostly Asians. I guarantee you all the crime being committed is committed by other Asians. I guarantee you go in any Jewish community where there's all Jews, I guarantee you that all the crime being committed by other Jews. But no, you don't want to look at that. You just want to throw that bullshit ass statistic up there, black on black crime, like we the only people that's committing crime against our own people. Crimes are usually committed by the people in those communities. You fucking dodo.
It's really easy to point the finger and say it's not my fault. It's systemic racism keeping us down. It's the fact that we don't have privilege is the reason why we're not succeeding. No, that's not the reason you're not succeeding. It's the fact that you have some problems in your culture that are bringing your people down.
Yeah, we having problems in our culture that's bringing our people down. The problem is that you taken our culture and gave us yours. Have you forgotten, Khalid Abdul Muhammad say, that once we were brought here, we were robbed of our language, robbed of our names. We lost our religion, our culture, our gods. And many of us, by the way we acted, we even lost our minds. Y'all stripped us of everything that we were as a people and colonized us and gave us your culture. You took our strong spiritual systems, voodoo, Ifa, you know what I'm saying, and even Islam, because you can't enslave a Muslim. And when the slave trade happened, a lot of Africans were Muslim. The indigenous black folk that were here, you took their animism and the shit they practiced, and you gave them white Jesus. So that's the problem, man. That's the problem with the culture. The culture that we have was not our culture. You gave us your culture. You know what I'm saying? You use systemic racism, redlining to put us in these fucking ghettos and shit. While reason they had to pass the Fair Housing Act. You know what I'm saying? And then give us a pacifier like white Jesus, pie in the sky. You knew you was fucking us around, but you want us to pray to this white Jesus so everything will be all right in the afterlife. That's who we were. We weren't that as a people before European colonization. So get the fuck out of here with that bullshit too.
Need to correct them. Was America more racist now than it was in 1960? Because all of these stats have greatly increased within the greatest time period for civil rights.
Now, was America more racist today than it was in 1960? Well, I don't know about America being more racist, but I know white people are just as racist today as they've ever been. You know what I'm saying? The nature of a beast don't change. Y'all xenophobic people y'all have never been a people able to get along. If you search the history of the European, y'all have always y'all was warring against each other when you was in the hills and cave sides of Europe. And when you start coming down into indigenous populations, you was going to war with them people. And America's just racist now as it was then. Look who you got in the White House now. You know, when you look at these white people calling the police on everybody, you don't see white people calling the police on other white people for little petty shit. You calling them on black people. You don't see them calling them on Mexicans. You don't see them calling them on nobody but black people. So yeah, you motherfuckers is just racist now as you've always been.
The answer is no. We're not more racist now than it was in 1960, but for some reason we have more problems. These problems have nothing to do with racism and everything to do with the culture within the black community. And more specifically, what I want to treat all these problems to, or a majority of these problems to, is the music that this culture produces, that the black culture produces.
So I won't have to make a part 2 of this video. He says it's the music, and I'm going to let him go.
It's undeniable that one of the biggest influencers in our society today is the music industry. So black music, or music that is predominantly listened to and produced by the black community, promotes the objectification of women, the selling and trafficking of drugs, and also gang violence as well as gun violence. You don't believe me? Let me just quote some of the most popular songs. If a nigga wants static, let him have it. Have you ever seen a mini semi-automatic? A boogie with the hoodie. Everyone screaming fuck WestJet. Lil Pump still sell that meth. Little Pump. Fucking on your bitch, yeah.
That's enough of that, okay? You've made your point, white boy. So while you stand in your glory, I know you don't mind if I tell the rest of the story. When hip-hop started back in the mid-'70s, or when it re-emerged, because we've always been a rhythmic people, we've always, the 5 elements of hip-hop have always been around. It just re-emerged in the 70s. By the mid to late 1880s, brothers started rapping, because y'all took the instruments out to school, so we started using what we had, which was our mouths and whatever we could find. And then we came up with this music called hip-hop. If you go back to the early golden age of hip-hop, man, we were rapping about unity. You had the KRS-Ones, the Public Enemies. We were rapping about black stuff. We was rapping about partying and having fun. And then white people and the powers that be, understanding the power of music and the imagery with the videos we were making out, which was all about unification of black people, they knew how powerful that was. And then so they took it, they hijacked the culture. And then they started paying they started using young black talent to promote thug ghetto shit, gangster shit. So that means that since they owned all the distribution and all the media, that meant that in order for you to get some money in hip hop, to get a record deal, you had to rap about what they wanted you to rap about. And that was this gangster shit. And at the same time, they were building the prison industrial complex, because they knew that if young black people start rapping about gangsters, drugs, and shit like that, that other young black people will follow suit, and then they started passing laws. They put the crack in the communities, then built the prisons to put us in there. See, that's the type of shit you don't know. So it was white Jewish people that took over the music industry and started paying young black people to rap all this shit the same way they do now. Only now the focus is more on homosexuality. They still paying folks, a handful of people, and since they control what gets out to the masses of people, they pay a handful of people to make sure they rap about these new drugs, these opiates and shit. Back in the day, it was crack. Now it's about opiates. Now it's about homosexuality. So, you know what I'm saying? See, that's the part, young white boy, that you don't know and you don't understand. And I'm going to say this, man, that we need to always listen to these talking heads like this so our people can get the goddamn truth. Because when I read them comments and I realized that they was listening to this clown and agree with him, I had to speak up and say something. Because I've been around for the whole fucking time. For the last 52 years, I've been in this society, and I was a victim of it, and I done came through it, and I goddamn it, I studied, and I could tell you what happened to us. So don't listen to this white boy. And if anybody else feel the need that can express, man, and shoot this shit down better than me, please do so, because I would sure like to hear it. This is just my take on it. Big Hill, peace, I'm out.
Cooking up dope in the crock pot.